Hello, Hammers fans. I'm Chris Skull. I'm a lifelong West Ham United fan myself. I'm the matchday presenter at London Stadium, and I am here in my 94-95 season Dagenham Motors West Ham United third strip to be your quizmaster for the hashtag Hammers at Home pub quiz. With coronavirus depriving us of live football and pretty much everything else we enjoy, we hope half an hour of quizzing will distract you from isolation and remind you of what you love about our great club. Like any good pub quiz, we've got different rounds, traditional questions, pictures, videos, but with a claret and blue theme linking them all together. We'll be keeping tabs of our winners each week on the hashtag Hammers at Home pub quiz leaderboard. So, in the spirit of fair play, Paolo Di Canio style, we'd urge you not to cheat with Google because you'll only be cheating yourself. Let's keep it above board out there, Hammers fans. We've struck a balance in the questions, so Hammers of all ages can take part. So, without further ado, let's kick off the hashtag Hammers at Home pub quiz. Okay, round one is here to ease you into things. It's general West Ham knowledge. We've got 10 questions. Jot down your answers and we'll give you a point for each one you get correct. All right, I'm going to give you 10 to 20 seconds between each question to think of the answer and write it down. All right, question one. What year was West Ham United originally formed as Thames Ironworks FC? That's what year was West Ham United originally formed as Thames Ironworks FC? That is a nice, easy question to begin the Hammers at Home pub quiz. If you can't get that right, you've got to question your credentials as a West Ham United fan. It's not going to get any easier. Okay. Question 2. West Ham United reached the first FA Cup played at Wembley when a grey horse famously kept the huge crowd off the pitch. But what was the horse's name? Question 2, they're already getting harder. I'll repeat that. West Ham United reached the first FA Cup played at Wembley. First FA Cup final played at Wembley. When a grey horse famously kept the huge crowd off the pitch. What was the horse's name? That was question 2. Okay, question 3. We're going to go forward 90 years from 1923 to 2013. And the question is, where did West Ham United finish in the Premier League table at the end of the 2012-2013 season? I'll repeat that question. This is question 3. Where did West Ham United finish in the Premier League table at the end of the 2012-2013 season? Okay, question 4. Sticking to 2012-2013. Who finished as our leading scorer that season? That's question 4, the 2012-2013 season. Who finished as our leading scorer that season? I'll give you a clue. He scored 10 goals and all of them were in the Premier League. That was question 4. All right, question 5. Speaking of the number 10, who wore the number 10 shirt for West Ham United in the 1980 FA Cup final win over Arsenal? That's question 5. Number 10. Who wore the number 10 shirt for West Ham United in the 1980 FA Cup final win over Arsenal? Very famous number 10 for West Ham. Okay, question 6. Our legendary number 6, Bobby Moore, would have celebrated his birthday in he celebrated his birthday this month. But in which year was he born? I'll repeat that question because I fumbled over it. Our legendary number 6, Bobby Moore, would have celebrated his birthday this month, in April. But in which year was he born? That was question 6. Okay, question 7. Bobby Moore made 647 appearances for West Ham between 1958 and 1974. But which team did he face more often than any other in claret and blue? That's a tough question. I'll repeat it. Question 7. Bobby Moore made 647 appearances for West Ham between 1958 and 1974. But which team did he face more often than any other in claret and blue? And question 8. Our 8th full England international earned his one and only cap as a Hammer in a 2-0 defeat by Ireland in Belfast in October 1927. What was his aristocratic sounding name? That is a tough question. I'll repeat it. Number 8. Our 8th full England international earned his one and only cap as a Hammer in a 2-0 defeat by Ireland in Belfast in October 1927. What was his aristocratic sounding name? And question 9. How many West Ham players, including players who were on loan with the Hammers at the time, have played for England at senior level? That is a tough one. Question 9. How many West Ham players, including players who were on loan with the Hammers at the time, have played for England at senior level? And lastly, question 10. To close out round 1, Declan Rice made his debut as a substitute at Burnley in May 2016. But which player did he replace? I'll ask that question again. Question 10, last one of the round. Declan Rice made his debut as a substitute at Burnley in May 2016. But which player did he replace? Okay, it's time for the answers from round 1. Give yourself a point for each one you get correct. The answer for number 1 is that West Ham United was originally formed as Thames Ironworks FC in 1895, the 29th of June to be precise, so we'll be 125 years old this year. Answer number 2. The horse who did a bit of stewarding at Wembley in 1923 was called Billy. Rumours that he's related to the Bonds family are just unconfirmed at this point. Answer number 3. We'd just been promoted under Big Sam, did rather well in 2012-2013, finishing the season in a very respectable 10th place. Answer number 4, and it is no surprise to anyone, of course, that in that season, Kevin Nolan finished as top scorer under Big Sam. He bagged a hat-trick on the final day against Reading, who sadly went down to beat his old mate, Andy Carroll, to the crown. Answer number 5, nice and easy, match winner. Sir Trevor Brooking donned the number 10 shirt at Wembley 40 years ago. Answer number 6, Bobby Moore was born on the 11th of April, 1941. Answer number 7, if you got this, you're either a West Ham stato or you are cheating. The answer is West Bromwich Albion. Bobby faced them 31 times for the Hammers. He faced Manchester United 30 times, Arsenal 28, and Liverpool, Everton and Tottenham on 27 occasions. And the answer for number 8 is Stan Earl. It was actually the inside right second England cap, as he'd also featured against France in May 1924 when he played for FA Amateur Cup winners Clapton. Amazing scenes. Answer 9, 42 Hammers have played for England, with the most recent, of course, being Declan Rice. And answer 10, Declan came on to replace Edmilson Fernandez at Turf Moor. He touched the ball 6 times, completing 6 first-time passes, a sign of things to come. Right, it's time to tot up your score. That was a pretty tough start, bit difficult, but West Ham fans are a knowledgeable bunch, so stand by for round 2. Okay, time now for round 2. This, I think, might be my favourite round of the quiz. The round is, name the player from his Wikipedia career history. So, we've jumped online, we've searched for 5 West Ham United players. We want you to name them from the lists of clubs they played for, as published on their Wikipedia page. Simple as that. Okay, here's the first. There you go, beginning his career in 2006 and with it now continuing in 2019 for Armin Munchen. Who is this West Ham United player who played 10 games in 2009? Okay, hopefully most of you will have got that one right. Here's the second Wikipedia career history. And as you can see, beginning his career in 2002, he joined the Hammers in 2008, playing 58 games, scoring 4 goals before leaving in 2011 for Fiorentina, and his career continued to this day at Genoa. So who is this West Ham United player? Okay, bit tougher that one. Let's have the third. And this player, beginning his career in 1981, joined West Ham from Aberdeen in 1987, played 30 games, didn't score, stayed for 3 years, and then left for Falkirk. Who is this West Ham United player with a possibly Scottish connection? All right. And now here is the fourth West Ham player. And he began his career in the 50s with Arsenal, but joined West Ham in 1962, where he played a whopping 178 games over 6 years before leaving for the Detroit Cougars and then coming back to our arch rivals, Millwall. Who is this West Ham player? And finally, here's the fifth Wikipedia career history of a certain West Ham player. Beginning his career in 1996 with PAU, before joining Paris Saint-Germain. He eventually made his way to Upton Park on loan in 2002-2003 and playing 25 games and scoring a single goal. Who is this West Ham alumni? Okay, that was fun. We have a few more seconds to finalise your answers and I'll put you out of your misery as to who those West Ham players were. Right then, it's time for the answers for Name the Player from his Wikipedia history. And the answers are as follows. Again, give yourself a point for each one you get right. Answer number 1 was our one-time club record signing, Savio Insurreco. So now we all know what happened to him. And in fact, he's probably more prolific now than he's ever been. He's scoring a goal a game this season. Incredible scenes. Maybe bring him back. Answer number 2 is our all-action former Switzerland midfielder, Valon Barami. He covered some ground for us, if I remember correctly, and he looks like he's still covering ground now. He's played for half the clubs in Europe, apparently. Answer number 3 is Scottish defender Tommy McQueen, who had won the Scottish Cup with Aberdeen in 1986, playing under a certain Sir Alex Ferguson. Answer number 4 is our 1964 FA Cup and 1965 European Cup Winners' Cup winning goalkeeper Jim Standen, who also played cricket and won the county championship with Worcestershire. And finally, answer number 5 is French midfielder Edouard Cissé, one of Harry Redknapp's many signings from overseas. Cissé spent a season on loan with us from Paris Saint-Germain and we got relegated. Thanks a lot for that, Eddie. We'll be back in a jiffy with round 3. Okay, on to round 3, and it's the What Happened Next round. Watch this clip and we'll ask you 5 questions related to it. There we go, that was the clip. Okay, question 1. For starters, West Ham scored a goal a few seconds after the action stopped. But who scored it? That's question 1. West Ham scored a few seconds after the action stopped. But who scored that goal? Question number 2. Who were West Ham playing that day? That's question 2. Who were West Ham playing that day? Okay, and question 3. So we know we scored at least one goal, but what was the final score? That's question 3. So we know we scored at least one goal, but what was the final score? And question 4. Who was our manager at the time? That's question 4. Who was in the dugout managing West Ham at the time? And finally, question 5. Which West Ham player wore the highest squad number on his shirt that afternoon? I'll give you a clue. He came on as a substitute. That's question 5. Which West Ham player wore the highest squad number on his shirt that afternoon? Alright, it's time for the round 3 answers. Give yourself a point for each correct answer. Answer number 1, the little Welsh wizard and keen golfer Craig Bellamy was our goal scorer. And the answer for question number 2 is that we were playing Netflix's favourite football team, Sunderland. And answer number 3 is 3-1 to West Ham. Come on, you Irons. Answer number 4, Alan Curbishley. Curbs was our manager. He pulled off the Great Escape the previous season and was absolutely loving life at the time. This win lifted us up to the heady heights of 10th in the Premier League table. And finally, answer number 5, the man wearing the highest squad number of any West Ham player was the great Luís Boa Morte. The Portuguese winger had number 34 on his back when he came on for Matty Everton and showed his class by setting up Bellamy's match-clinching goal in injury time. Muito bom, Boa. I think that means well done. And so we're on to round 4. Round 4 is a picture round that we're calling Trading Places. We've gone through our drawers and dug out 8 trading cards from our collections. We want to know the name of the player, and we've skillfully edited out the names and the name of the club we signed him from. That's the name of the player and the club we signed him from. Here are the trading cards. We'll give you a couple of minutes to study them. Have a chat with your family, your friends, your pets, or whoever else you live or work with, and note down your answers. Okay, right, it is time for the answers from round 4. And how did you get on with those? Some real blasts from the past. Here are the answers. Starting top left, this handsome chap with the immaculate side parting and the huge collar is Danny Williamson, who played 58 games in midfield between 1993 and 1996. And Danny came through our academy, so that was a bit of a trick question, but hopefully you got it right. Next is Croatian sensation Nikita Jelavic, who we fought off competition from the world's top clubs to sign from Hull City in 2015. Our third trading card features the moustached Dale Gordon. The striker scored our first ever Premier League goal back in 1993, and Dale was signed from Scottish Giants Rangers. Fourth in our rogues gallery is the devilishly handsome Czech midfielder Radislav Kovac, who featured under Gianfranco Zola and Avram Grant between 2009 and 2011 after joining from Spartak Moscow. That was a tough one, I feel. Number 5, on the far left of the bottom row, is a very gentlemanly looking Thomas Repka, who joined us for a club record fee from Italian side Fiorentina in 2001. Yes, that really is Tommy, the man who was sent off twice on his first 3 appearances for West Ham, complete with a smile that would melt hearts and a haircut off of something like University Challenge. Excellent. 6 is the winger Andrew Impey, who played 34 times under Harry Redknapp in the late 90s after joining us from Queen's Park Rangers in 1997. 7 is Chicharito, who was signed from German club Bayer Leverkusen in 2017. Nice and easy one, that one. And last but not least, and probably quite tricky, is Tyrone Mears. The flying fullback joined us from Preston North End in 2006 and played 6 games before leaving the following year. Okay, remember, give yourself a point for each player and a point for each club you got right. We'll be back in a second with round 5. And last but not least, it is round 5, which is a round we're calling Who Am I? We're going to give you 4 clues and you need to name the individual with West Ham connections. It could be a player, a manager, a famous fan, or someone with even the most tenuous of links to West Ham United. Give yourself 4 points if you get his or her name after the first clue. Give yourself 3 points if you get the name right after the second clue, 2 points after the third clue, and 1 point if it takes you all 4 clues to work out their identity. So this is complicated, I will say it again. 4 points if you get his or her name after the first clue, 3 points after the second clue, 2 points after the third clue, and if it takes you all 4 clues, give yourself 1 point. Okay, let's go. Clue 1. I was born in South London on the 24th of August 1991. That's the first clue. I was born in South London on the 24th of August 1991. Okay. Clue 2. I have played for Arsenal, Chelsea and West Ham United. That second clue. I have played for Arsenal, Chelsea and West Ham United. And clue 3. If you've got it right after clue 2, by the way, you should give yourself 3 points. But if it takes you clue 3, give yourself 2 points. Okay, clue 3. I have been capped 9 times by England. I'll read that again. Clue 3. I have been capped 9 times by England. And finally, clue 4, and if it takes you this long and you get it after clue 4, you can only give yourself 1 point, and this is the critical clue. Clue 4, I am the current captain of West Ham United's women's team. That's the 4th clue. I am the current captain of West Ham United's women's team. All right, have you got the answer? Clue 4 should mean you should surely get at least 1 point. I'll give you a few more seconds to think about it and write down your answer. And I'm declaring time is up. But the correct answer is, of course, Gilly Flaherty. Gilly has had a great career. She's won the FA Women's Cup 7 times, the FA WSL title on 4 occasions, and the UEFA Women's Cup when she was just 15 back in 2007, and there she is there. Gilly Flaherty, the correct answer to our final round. So if you add up your scores, your total is out of 40. And how did you get on? Speaking personally, I'd say that was harder than winning a 50-50 with Billy Bonds, Mark Noble, or, for example, Mad Dog 9 Allen. I would say that anything over 30 suggests you've got Google on your team, because this was a tough quiz, I have to say. Anything over 25 is still very good. Reply to this tweet or whatever social media platform you've seen this on with your name and score, and let's see if you make the leaderboard for next week. Thank you for taking part in the first ever #Hammers at Home pub quiz. We'll see you again next week. Until then, stay at home, protect the NHS and save lives. Come on, you Irons.